Welcome to our daily Forex market analysis, and this is for trading on January 30th, 2020. Just a quick disclaimer before we get started here. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. All right, as usual, we'll start off by taking a look at our calendar here. So the big event today was the Fed statement, and they didn't really change the rates. They didn't really provide much of a forward guidance, but they are concerned about the coronavirus. And that's something that may weigh on the markets. So the death toll has actually gone up. So the deaths, a number of deaths from the number of deaths from coronavirus has gone up to 170, and then the number of confirmed cases are at 7,700. So overall, the numbers are going up. And tomorrow, the World Health Organization is going to have a meeting in this regard, and they will say whether this will be defined as a national emergency or international emergency or not. So that's what's going on with the virus at the moment. But if they do declare it as an international emergency, we could see the markets being impacted by that. And in which case we could get the drop in the equity markets, and we could get the safe haven assets going up. So just keep an eye out for that. And then we also have Bank of England monetary policy statement coming up at this point. They are not expected to cut rates, but what we are seeing here is that we could see the votes here change a bit. So basically, Bank of England may be concerned about how the Brexit will work out, or how things will work out after Brexit, and overall just the economic conditions and trade conditions after Brexit. And with this, if they express concern about the economy or trade or anything like that, that would be negative for British pound. But if they don't do anything about the monetary policy and just leave things as they are, then we may not see any sort of response. But if they are overall positive about things, and then we could see British pound go up as a result. So that's kind of what we are looking for. In regards to Brexit, it got voted in EU, and as a result of that, now it has passed EU as well. Earlier it had passed UK Parliament, and now it has passed EU as well. So basically January 30th, Brexit will happen, and then UK will be out of the European Union. So that's where the Brexit stuff stands. And then going into our New York session tomorrow, we are looking for advanced GDP numbers. So if they are below expectations, we could see US dollar drop. Otherwise, if they're positive, we could see US dollar go up as a result. And then we also have this President Weidman speaking here. So just keep an eye on that. If there are any concerns about the economy or conditions after Brexit, that could make a difference. So just keep an eye on that. Other than that, we have CPI numbers here. Actually, these are important. So even though they are marked as yellow, the CPI numbers are always, inflation numbers are important because the central bank tracks them, and this is an important measure that they look at. So if the numbers are below expectations, it will have a negative impact on the currency. And then we have Chinese data here. With the Chinese PMI numbers, if they are below expectations, then we could see a negative impact on Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar because both of those countries do a lot of trade or exports into China. So that's what we have coming up. Let's take a look at our charts here. As usual, we'll start with euro dollar. So with the euro here, we did see price drop, but it has pulled back, and now it's kind of holding in this very narrow range at the moment. The candle close here is neutral. We do have a bit of a, downward sort of move here. However, there's a large pin on the bottom, which means we could see things churn. So keep an eye on that. So right now, my bias here is neutral for euro. We could see things change. So what I will look for is a retest of 1.0990. If it stays above, then it could go back towards 1.1030 and potentially even higher towards 1.1050. But right now, it's just been stuck in this range, and it doesn't have the momentum to the downside like it did before. So we could see a reversal here. So neutral bias for euro dollar. Pound dollar here, this one didn't really do a whole lot today. It's still stuck in this range here. Market is waiting on Bank of England to see what happens there. If they are dovish about the economy, if they're concerned about the state of economy after Brexit, then we could see pound drop. But if they are not concerned about it, they think things will flow smoothly, then we are likely to see pound go up. So at this point, the bias here is neutral as well. Basically, what I'm looking for is a potential retest here. It hasn't really gone down, just a retest, and if it stays above this previous support level, it's very likely that it will go up. So neutral bias here for pound dollar as well. Then I will look for price to basically move back towards the middle of the range, which is 1.3100, and then into top of the range, which is 1.3170. So right now, bias is neutral for pound dollar, and I'm expecting it to trade within this range. Aussie dollar here, this one has dropped, so bias is still to the downside here. Now, like I mentioned before, if the coronavirus kind of gets marked as an international emergency, we could have a negative impact on the markets, which means Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, both of these are likely to drop as a result of that. And then yen crosses and Swiss franc crosses would drop as well. So do keep an eye on that. Right now, this is looking negative. Price has stayed below this 0.677 or 80 level, and now bias is to the downside. The first target here is 0.6730, which is a support level here. Now, sometimes what can happen is price comes and retests this level, and then it can turn around. So watch out for that. If it does not break 0.6730 level, chances are it will go back. And it just trades as a range here. Now, should it drop through here, next target we are looking at is 0.6700, and then below that we've got 0.6680. So overall bias is to the downside for Aussie dollar. New Zealand dollar, this is also biased to the downside here. Price has held below 0.6550, so looking for price to drop further. Now, it did try to break through the support. It did close above the support, but right now it does have that momentum to the downside, so bias is bearish here. In terms of the target, we're looking at 0.6490 as the first target, and then 0.6450 as a second target. So just looking for it to drop back into this support resistance level here. So bias is bearish for New Zealand dollar. Dollar CAD here, this is pushing higher. So we have seen some reversal in the risk sentiment here. Bias is bullish here. It is into resistance. So this is where price was struggling before. Now with a higher death count coming up from coronavirus and number of cases increasing, that could have a negative impact here. So we generally see that commodity currencies get impacted negatively because of that. So this one could go higher. We do have a bullish candle close, but again, it's right into the resistance at this point. If it goes through, only then would I look for the next one. However, what can happen is price tries to break out and then come back into the range here. So that's something we have to watch out for at this point. Bias is bullish, but with caution. Then once it gets to the other side, first target is 1.3240, and then we're looking at 1.3270 as second target. All right, let's take a look at commodities now. Silver dropped into the support level and has turned around. So this is looking bullish at the moment. The target here would be 17.667 as the first target. And then the second target would be 17.90. So bullish bias for silver. Gold also looking bullish. It's holding above this previous support resistance level. Resistance has turned into support, which means this one could go higher. So bullish bias here, 1588 is the first target. And then we are looking at 1610 as the second target. So bias is bullish. But just keep in mind, both silver and gold could become range bound. So they may just start going back and forth within this range. So that's something to watch out for. It could just go like this. So just keep an eye on what happens towards this resistance level. But for now, bias is bullish. Oil not doing so well. It did go up slightly, but it has bounced back down since then. At this point, looking bearish, and target here is 52.20. And below that, we have 51.20. So bias is bearish for oil as well. Copper still looking bearish here, is holding below our previous support resistance level here. Nice bearish candle close, so bias is bearish. And in terms of a target, first target is 2.50, which is fairly close, and then 2.48 is the second target. So bearish bias for copper. Bitcoin here. Bitcoin, we do have a bullish candle close here, but it seems to be dropping at the moment. I would look for price to come into the support level towards 9,000. And then if it holds above the 9,000 level, then we could see another leg higher. So I would look for a retest of this 9,000 level. So overall bias still remains bullish here, but looking for a pullback towards 9,000 and then potentially higher. So bullish bias here. But again, if this crosses the 9,000 mark, then chances are very high that it will come back towards the support here at 8250. It will become range bound once again. So that's why this level, 9,000 level, is critical. If it stays above, I will look for a further move higher, but should it drop through that, then we could see it drop. All right, let's take a look at let's take a look at equities now. Equities, we did have a down day. Price went into the resistance here, and now we have a bearish candle close. So looking for price to drop back into this 3230 level here. So bearish bias for S&P 500. 3230 is the target. It's the first target, and then 3200 will be the second target. Now, with this one, do keep an eye on the decision that WHO, World Health Organization, makes. If they do declare the coronavirus as international emergency, it will have a negative impact on the markets. Now, how long that negative impact stays has to be seen, but it is likely to have a negative impact because of that. But if they don't declare it as an international emergency, then this one could go, the equity markets could go up as a result of that positive news. So for now, bias is bearish, 3230, and then 3200 is the target. NASDAQ here, this one is also holding below this previous support resistance level at 9150. So bearish bias with this one, looking for it to come back down towards 8950 into the bottom of this level here. So this is starting to look like it wants to become range bound here. So bearish bias here, 8250 will be the, 8950 is the target. But again, like I said, keep an eye on the virus situation. This one is looking bearish as well. We have a nice bearish pin bar. So I would look for it to drop back into the support level. 28,500 is the first target. And only if it goes through that, we have 28,100 as the second target. So bearish bias for Dow Jones as well. DAX here, this one is also, I will look for it to drop. It's held below this previous support resistance level and I will look for it to drop towards 13,130. So bearish bias for that. And then we have our FTSE, same thing, it's holding below this previous support resistance level here. So I will look for it to come back down towards 73.80 level here. So bearish bias for FTSE as well. And we have Nikkei, same thing, it's holding below that support resistance level. So all the equity indices are holding below the gap point. And as a result, this is bearish, looking for it to drop towards 23,000. That will be the first target. And then second target here would be 28,800. So bias is bearish for Nikkei as well. But do keep an eye on the virus situation because it can drive sentiment tomorrow. So that's it for today. You guys have a wonderful trading day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.